Alright, so the next thing that we want to talk about is how to get our program to run faster, right? What if I did want to make 100 shapes and I wanted it to appear on the screen instantaneously? Well, we could do that, okay? And the way that we do that is we add a tracer. Okay, so if we do turtle.tracer, we could put any number in here from 1 to, whatever it is that you want. Okay, and what does tracer mean? Let's do a tracer of 3. Okay, what does tracer mean? It means that it's not going to draw on the screen until the turtle has completed 3 movements. Okay, so what does that mean? It means our turtle is going to draw 3 times as fast, because every time it draws on the screen, it's going to draw 3 of the turtle's movements. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run our program, and you can see it's like very fast. Okay, and why is that? It's because it's not having to animate the turtle 3 times in order to draw 3 movements. It just needs to animate the turtle 1 time to draw 3 movements onto the screen. Okay, and if we increase this to 30, you'll see that it goes even faster. Okay, now I can increase this to 300, and you'll see that it goes even faster. Okay, now maybe I can increase it to 3,000, and we get this. Okay, so if we set our tracer to a high number like 10, then we can get an almost instantaneous version of our program here. Okay, now what you'll notice when you use tracer is that sometimes you'll find that it doesn't draw some of the movements that you have on the screen. Okay, and why is that? Well, it's because let's take a look at these 5 boxes, and let's assume that each box represents the turtle moving once, right? So this is the turtle moving forward, this is the turtle turning left, this is the turtle moving forward, this is the turtle turning left, and this is the turtle turning forward. Okay, if our tracer is set to 3, then that means it's going to draw these 3 movements all at once. So it's going to draw these 3 movements all at once. It's going to draw the forward, the turn, and the forward, right? So there we go. And then it needs 3 more movements to draw the next frame of animation. But there are no 3 movements. There's only 2 movements. So what does turtle do in this case? It does not draw these last 2 movements of the turtle. Okay, so when you use tracer, sometimes it won't draw the last couple movements of your turtle, and that's the reason why. Because if you set the tracer to 3, then it needs 3 movements to draw a frame of animation, and it'll draw this frame of animation, these 3 movements, but it won't draw these 2 movements because there's not 3 movements here of the turtle, so that the tracer can draw those 3 movements in one frame of animation, and the tracer just doesn't do these 2 movements of the turtle. So how can we make it so that the turtle will definitely draw these last movements, even if there's not enough to draw the animation? Well, what we can do is at the end of our program, we could do a for loop for I in range, and we're going to use the same number as the tracer, 10, and we're going to do a t dot pen up. Then inside we're going to do a t dot forward, and we're going to move 1 space. Okay. Now you might be thinking to yourself, hey, why do we do that? Well, we're penning up and then we're moving forward 1 space. This is going to do nothing in our program. Right? It's not going to show anything. Well, it's not going to show anything, and that's the point. We don't want it to show anything. What we want it to do is to clear out the tracer. So if there are any leftover movements of the turtle that haven't printed on the screen, this is going to force those movements to be printed on the screen. Right? Let's go back to our example where we had tracer is equal to 3. So we draw these 3 movements. Then it comes here and it says, hey, man, we have these 2 movements, but we can't draw them on the screen because there's only 2 of them. Well, we went ahead and put in a for loop that moved 3 times. So that means there's 3 more movements over here, which means it's going to draw these 2 along with the extra movement, and then it's going to not draw the leftovers that were on the end there. So this is what I call clearing out the tracer. Clearing out the tracer. And maybe we can even make a function definition for clear tracer, like that, right? We could pass it the turtle, and in the clear tracer, this is what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and do that actually. Def clear tracer. Let's do turtle and paste that in there. And now we don't have to worry about that problem. So whenever you use tracer to make your program faster, you want to also run a clear tracer that's going to use the same number as your tracer in the for loop. Okay. And if you do that, then you shouldn't have any problems. All right, so that's the tracer. And one more thing I want to add is, since we're using the tracer here, the tracer number here and here, we should probably make a variable for it. Okay, and since we're also using this 320 in so many locations, right, we should also use a variable for it. So why don't we go ahead and make 2 global variables, since they're going to be used in 2 of the functions, and let's call it tracer number is equal to 10, and then let's call it screen dim, for screen dimension is going to equal to 320. Okay, and now that we do that, I can come over here and I could say tracer number. Here I could do tracer number. And then on my screen dim, I can come over here and I can use screen dim, screen dim, screen dim, and screen dim. And so why is this helpful? Why is this something that I want to do? It's because if I want to change the tracer number, I could just come up here and change it once. When before, I needed to come here and change it, and then I had to come over here and change it. Right? So it's better to change it in only one spot than change it in 2. And so screen dim as well. If I wanted to change the screen dimension of how big it is, then I would need to change it here and here and here and here. But instead, now all I need to do is change it right here, and you'll see that all these rectangles are going to be appearing in a smaller little box, right? And I could even tighten that up and say 100, so then it'll, create these rectangles in a smaller area, right? And you can even change the screen dimensions. You can change how big this screen is, okay? And if you do, then you would want to change this screen dim function, the screen dim variable value to whatever the new dimension of the screen is.